do this.
Welcome back, family. Hey, we're here to check out the CovrPrice top 20 books. And if you're looking at the t-shirt that I'm wearing, you know what the list is going to be. Apologies in advance. So today was supposed to be an on-site, in-store collaboration with Visions, but a last-minute family, I'm not going to say emergency, but responsibility came up. So Logan from Visions isn't able to do this week. We'll reschedule at another time. Maybe do a different show. Maybe we'll just do a completely unrelated show, just to chew the fat and talk about comic books. Because I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? So yeah, what we're going to do today is we're going to check out the top 20, which is the top 10 normal, and then the runner-ups, which is another 10. This is 20 books to look at. Why not? As reported by CovrPrice for the week ending today, or yesterday, whichever you would want to say. But today is the 27th of May, 2024. We're going to take a look at these. And again, if you don't like the books on the list, don't blame CovrPrice. They're only reporting what we're doing. Okay. So if a certain book is on this list and people are paying super stupid amounts of money for it, it's not because CovrPrice told them to. They're just reporting that people are paying stupid amounts of money for it. And that's what our job here tonight is, to look at the books and say, this is a stupid price. This is got potential. Just try to weed through all the craziness that is our market and find the most sensible decisions for all of us. And it's not me just ranting. I really want you guys to give the feedback here in the channel as well. This is a dialogue. So already checking in. We've got Robert Monroe. Good evening, Rich and my fellow coconuts. Meatwad number 1. Good evening, one and all. How's it going? 25 Perez TTM. Welcome to the show. Oh, and by the way, when we hit that midway point and I put up the screen saying thank you to our Patreon and YouTube members, I think you're going to notice there's a new member in each category. We gained 2 new members this week, and I want to thank them in advance. All right, so at the end of the show, also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 picks. One is my gun to the head, which is based on today's information and today's prices. If I had to purchase one on this list at current market price, which one would I do? Which would I buy with the hope that they would go up or at least depreciate the least? And which one is my rubber band to the butt, the stinger, the stinker, the one that I think is the worst pick of the 20 for long-term investment? Again, this is my opinion. If I pick the worst one and it turns out to be the best, just shows you that I'm wrong. I've got tons of boxes to prove that I can be wrong. All right. Let's just jump right into this list. Coming in at number 20, Doom. Issue number 1, the Scan. That guy from KRS Comic Corner. Secret Wars number 10, Homage, which is limited to 300. This is the new Doom series. It just came out. And last week it was number 1 on the hot list, and we'll see where the cover A appears this week. But one thing I noticed is that if this is a limited to 300, which that's going to put it like almost like a 1 in 500 ratio book. I mean, that's low, and it's only going for $90. It's up 11%. It's currently selling for 90. The last actually FMV of 94, last sale of 90. So the one thing though is it is a comic stores exclusive. So it's not like every store had the opportunity to get one. You have to be to know of the store, be a fan of the store. And how does the artwork look? The artwork looks decent. Not crazy about Doom's face, but the illustration of the steel coming or whatever metal he uses as armor, ripped off and exposing skin underneath it. Looks good. I like it. I'm not a big fan of ratio variants or limited books, but for $90, that might not be bad. If Doom continues to do so well on the hot list, now that this is coming at number 20, more people are going to know about it. This price may climb. I think in the long run, this is about, it might come in the long run. I don't see this being a tremendously high book, but I think if you can get in for 90, your downside is not going to be too bad. One other thing that I am neglecting to talk about is I've read several reviews about the storyline of Doom, and people don't seem to be that impressed so far. I've heard multiple people refer to it as boring. So that could spell doom for doom. Coming in number 19, we've got Doom, the Maria Wolf, 1 in 25. And look, I mean, I love a lot of Maria Wolf's work. I'm not crazy about this cover. It's just me. I'm not. Um, that being said, a 1 in 25 going for $35. I think this was on the list last week, and it says trends up $2, 2%, which I guess that's about what, a dollar, 75 cents. Um, Again, if the series doesn't do well, if if it doesn't get a big audience, then this is not going to have much investability. The fact that it's not even double ratio, I think it's already not going to take off. Personally, I would avoid the book. Coming up, number 18, let's get into my t-shirts, shall we? X-Men 97, issue number 1, the Todd Knock from March of 27th, a couple months ago. Jumped on the hot list last week because of the absolute popularity of the X-Men 97 series. I know that Logan from Visions is actually trying to binge watch it all now that it's all been released, and he is enjoying what he's watched so far. Bear in mind, and no spoilers to him, he hasn't gotten to episode number 5 when I talked to him a few hours ago. He may have by now. But yeah, $15, which is not terrible by today's prices. So yeah, I think it's definitely a book worth getting. I have. I should put my dooms together. What do you think? So I'm actually getting ready to send one copy off for grading. We've got 9.8s, 150. Yeah, that's not going to hold that price. I'm sorry. Highest known price of 169. That was a pre-sale. Oh, maybe not. One May, and it came out in March. If it was, yeah. So I think it's going to. The hype is only going to go down from here because the season is ended and we're a ways away from season 2. So, but $18 for the last sale, 16 FMV for near mint, 9.6 to 10. It doesn't have that much to go down. I think it might drop down to say 12 or 13, but I don't think it's going to go back to cover price. The 9.8s is where I would worry. I think 9.8s in the long run is going to be around $90 to $100. I mean, even Spider Boy that held it for a long time, that's down quite a bit. Those are going for now, I think, like $70 for a 9.8. Anyway, that being said, it's not a terrible book. If you can get it for 15, 16, I'd wait a little bit. If you don't want to pick up a nice copy, try to get one for more like 12 or 13. I don't think this book will go down below 10 in the long run, just because of how popular everything was. Number 17 on the list, we've got Wolverine Direct Edition, number 75. This is the first appearance of Wolverine's Bone Claws. Now, this is on the list now because of everybody anticipating seeing a scene in. It's going to be a scene. That'll be its absolute peak in season 2. Angry Street White Male is joining us. How's it going? I have that shirt. Yes, from Target. Yes. Look, in all seriousness, it's a nice shirt and it wasn't expensive. That's all that matters. It's got the claw rips on the back. It's double-sided. Come on. When I've got like 40 shirts, I have to be a little frugal about the prices that I spend on them. So again, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be some spoilers for X-Men 97 if you haven't watched it, Logan. But Tiago, what's up? How's it going? No joke. I got to stop and say this. I and Mrs. Ohana talking about the eventual someday of what we're going to do when we retire. And we started talking about maybe like country hopping, selling our house, selling everything, and just let's go spend 3 months in Pattaya Beach in Thailand, and let's go over to the Philippines. And then I started looking, I'm like, well, how much would it cost to for an apartment in like Rio, down in Brazil? Dude, you do not live in a cheap area. I'm sorry, you do not live in a cheap company. company, country. Ah, and yes, you're here. So, well, I got to sell more comic books if I want to live there for for a while. So at the end of season two, we all know what happened, which was very, very true to the comics and very, very unexpected in a Disney animated series. But they did it, which means it's sorry, in season one, but it's in season two, we're going to see his bone claws. And now everybody knows that, so they're buying this book. So what's going to happen as soon as his bone claws are shown? That'll be the pinnacle of this book, and it'll go back to the prices that it was before. So even with all this hype, we've got 9.8s selling for $91 and near mint 90 to 94 just sold for 5. Does that tell you that even when it's hot, it's selling for $5? It's not worth it. This is a time frame, 1993, when they were pumping out. The presses were glowing red hot. They were printing so many. They got the holograms on them, which were cool. I'd rather rip the hologram off and hang it up on the wall. You don't want me to stay with you, man. I got gas at night, but I appreciate the offer. Even my dogs, after a certain hour, won't come near me. And Kenneth, how's it going? Welcome to the show, dude. So I do not think that even at the most common is $11. FMV is around $11. The last sale for 5. Get it for 5. Why not? It's a good book. You know, book you want to read it. Okay. Don't spend 10 or over on this book. It belongs back in the back issue books that are going for $2 a piece. 2019, 18, 17, 16. We've got another book that is a poor investment. Also from 1996, 3 years later, but still in the same overprinting, bad storyline, almost the death of Marvel Comics timeframe. This is the first full appearance of Onslaught in X-Men issue number 53. Now, this book actually, it says it's trending up this 6% this week, and I'm surprised at that. I expected it to continue its downfall. It could be that some people are taking advantage of that dip last week and buying and maybe spiking prices just a little. I don't see that. I do not for the life of me understand why somebody spent $200 on a 9.8 on that, when you can go buy 10 near mint 9.6 to 10 raws for the same price. Send them in for a pre-screen, sell the other ones. You'd make a fortune. Yeah, this has never really been a high. It's not a good story. That's the thing. If this was a really good storyline, a good long-term character, I would expect this character to be incorporated into X-Men 97 season 2. It's not. And if nothing else, they have shown that they've jumped around a little bit in the timeline, just a little bit. I mean, they kept it in order, but like take big leaps in the comic book series. They're cherry picking some of the best storylines, and they're tweaking them a little bit. They're changing them a little bit, so they're not word for word, verbatim, identical situations to the comics, but they're keeping the same spirit of it. So you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you have an idea. And again, they want this to succeed, so they are taking the best storylines, and Onslaught is not one of them. So this is not a good investment. This is a good time to sell it if it's peaked up a little bit. Next on the list, we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 50, the Greg Capullo Virgin 1 in 100. 1 in 100 that is selling for $63. It's barely half ratio. No, I'm sorry, I am not. I am in Georgia, actually. The reason that I have Ohana in the name is because I am a tremendous Stitch fan. I've got Stitch everywhere, and Ohana means family. So I don't do the voice very well, and if I did, I'd probably get sued by Disney. So I used to be called Ohana Comics, and when I built the channel with up a bit with Greg and another person, the three of us got together and decided to call it Team Ohana because we were a team at that point. But even though Greg has left the channel and I'm back to myself, I do have the LLC paid for Team Ohana, just so nobody else can use the name in the state of Georgia. And when I really first started, the channel, calling myself Ohana Comics, somebody said, in the chat, "Okay, have a good night, mahalo," and he was from Hawaii, and I messaged him. I said, "Look, I understand I don't own the word, but and you're the one that said it, but would you feel offended if I use that as my sign off every night? Because it is such a wonderful word, meaning such a wonderful thing, great connotations and such a good flavor of Hawaii that." And he's like, "No, I'd feel honored." So haven't seen him in 2 years, but it was nice when he was on the channel. Anyway, back to the books. The cover A is okay. Cover B is the Capullo non, just the trade with the trade dress. There's a lot of different covers in this. Well, no, not a terrible amount, but a lot of people were going to buy it. You've got the John Romita Jr., John Tyler Christian, Negative Space. That's the only one that I bought. You have to stay away from the unknown comic books because that's a store exclusive. And honestly, that Zerdsy is pretty nice too. But when you have a store has a book that is going to sell really, really well. Yeah, that's not Zerdsy's best work. It's not. I like Zerdsy's work, but that's not it. When you have a book that, if you buy 100 copies, you can sell 100 copies. So if every store bought 100 copies of Spider-Man number 50, knowing that they got the pre-orders and they got all the different covers, so they could buy 30 of this, 20 of this, 20 of this, as long as it got up to 100, they'd have this. They would have qualified to get one of the 1 in 100s. Then you take the larger distributors, and then like Mile High Comics and Midtown and stuff like that. They might buy 1,000 copies. They're middle of Manhattan. People buying Spider-Man books left and right, and they've got mail order and everything else. They can buy 1,000 copies to get 10 of this. So 1 in 100, one per store is like 2,100 copies. I would not be surprised if that 1 in 100 there might be 5,000 copies. So I think that's why we're only getting $63 for this thing, and I think this is going to drop even further because from what I've heard, it's not a great storyline. I mean, if I could just get the trade dress looking almost as good, I think I'd go with that. It's not when they do a virgin as the 1 in 100 instead of a completely different cover, it hurts the chances of it. So I don't think it's going to drop too much more, but 45 to 50 in the long run might be where this book settles. Number 14 on the list, we have X-Men issue number 24, one of the books that Logan was going to show tonight. I think he had 1 copy, 2 copies. Huh. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I expect to buy a copy of this in as close to near mint condition as I can, but not now. This is a book that I would like to get signed by the 2 voice actors someday. And I think it's a great, great cover. And it means a lot more to me now that I watch X-Men 97. And I think someday, after what we're anticipating for season 2, which will be covered later in this list, when that resolves itself, I think we're going to get a moment where they actually almost, I got a feeling they're going to pretty much copy this scene. And I think this is going to be iconic. And I really do love this book. But the season has just ended. We're 11 months away from next season, or 10 or whatever. I'd wait a few months for this book to drop down a little bit. 9.8's $240. I can't see that when I can go get an absolute near mint FMV at 37, most recent sale 14. The near mint 9094, 17 selling for 16. The very fine's going for 18 down to 12. So the raws are dropping in price. A lot of these books are going to be hitting CGC. And this price, this 240, it's going to be 140 within 3 months. So don't jump on this book right now, but in the long run, you want to get it. If you're looking for signatures, make sure you pick yourself up a really high grade raw. understanding you may get a 9.6 back or 9.0 if they damage it when they're signing it. But a 9.8, they would have to crack open, and there's still no chance, no guarantee that it's going to stay a 9.8 as they're signing it. I just really do like that book. There is a Mexican foil reprint from MegaCon 2024 and a newsstand variant. Um, for just me getting a signature, I don't need a newsstand, but I do want that one right there. Number 13 on the list, we have The Authority, number one from 1999. It's been a while since I've seen a good quality DC book on this list. Now, I do not know what was said. I know James Gunn has been tweeting a lot of stuff, and I'm honestly trying to do my best to ignore it and not read it. Not because I don't like the DC or James Gunn, it's because I want to have a little bit of surprise when I'm going into these movies. There's just too many spoilers these days. I'm trying to avoid the Deadpool trailers. I want to go in with a clean brain, not expecting anything great or terrible, and just watch a movie for what it is. So I'm assuming that he made some reference within the last week to the Authority or characters in the Authority, which he has done in the past also. We got high grade raws selling for around the $40 mark and 9.8 selling for $271. Okay, I'm going to quickly look at the sales data. We've got some info hot off the press. I thought you were in her. Oh, okay. False advertisement. Hey, I'm in Georgia. Do I sound like I have a Southern accent? When Greg was at the show, he was from Virginia, so we used to say we're live from Georgia. Little double entendre there. I apologize. You're not the first person that thought that I was in Hawaii. So I mean, I could say Peach Comics or something like that, but then you'd think I was in Mario Kart. Okay, how far back do we want to look on 9.8s? There's sales going back to 2020. So 2023, I see 550, 500, 422. Dropping down, 250, 199 in January. But also in January, 425. What? Huh. I have no idea why they dropped so much or why they were spiked up so much. There is also a possibility of somebody selling a newsstand and not reporting it properly, so that way it screws up the costing here for a cover price. Again, not their fault that people don't advertise their books properly. The last three sales are 240, 244, and 271 after sales of 350. Prices really are all over the place. So 350, April 240, 244, May 271. It's a 1999 book. They were doing about the same idea as Marvel, printing. I think their storylines were better than Marvel was at that time. My office is next to a moving company, and the owner is Hawaiian. The name of his company is Come On, I Want a Movie. Which I think that he probably got the idea for that from Angrier Old Men, or Grumpier Old Men, sorry. Burgess Meredith's character, Come On, I Want to Lay Ya. He said he's been to the islands. And if you watch the post-credits, there was a bunch more that are all just as naughty, and the actress is like, I can't believe he said all those things. Anyway, getting off topic here. I don't know if this is a tremendously great idea as an investment. I mean, 99 is 25 years ago, so we're a quarter century old book. I might take a chance on a near mint or, a 9.6 to 10.0 raw for 40 before I go spending 270 on a 9.8. Because even if I miss and I get the 9.6, it's at 150. So that is definitely worth the cost of grading. But yeah, 271 on a modern day book, I'm just not a big fan of that. Especially since if they don't do something with the Authority, or if they do and it flops, that could be even worse. So I would pass on it in the graded sense. 12 on the list. We have X-Men issue number 185. Now this is just for the sake of the cover art is so bad. Is you've got Gambit as he is one of the horsemen for Apocalypse. He is Death, and he's got Rogue by the back of the throats. And again, they have a propensity of copying scenes straight out of comic books or right off the covers. The Trial of Magneto was a prime example of that. And I think we're going to see exactly this picture. And yeah, 1974 was 50 years ago. How do you think that makes me feel? I could think of that one. Stegabuns has joined. Oh, cool. Awesome. So I think that this book is going to. It wasn't a high price book to begin with, but I think this is really going to be in a demand at some point. But I wouldn't get it just yet, especially since we're not going to see any greatest sales on this. They're going to be there pretty quick. This is now up to $24, $21 for near mint. Now, if you look here in 2022, you got one copy sold in near mint 9610. It was $1. This was a dollar bin book. So, our collections are full of dollar bin books that we bought when they spiked up a little bit and they're back down to $1. But this one has a potential. So I think it's going to in between seasons. This is going to drop down $10 for a near mint raw. I'd be looking for it then. And then when the scene happens, it'll spike up again. It'll probably hit 30. It might even be in one of the trailers. If it does that, oof, that's when you can make some coin if you want to. I got to read the Masterverse at some point. 29. Yes. Okay, that's okay. So we're up to number 11 here. Cool. Midway point. New Mutants, number 98. First appearance of Deadpool. We've got the movie coming up. We've got more trailers that have hit the air. And we, of course, are going to be feeling the prices here. We've got 9.8s back up now, $1,400. 9.6 is $667. Raws, mint raws going for $4 to $450. This book has nowhere to go but down after the movie is over. I don't know. I know that he's not contractually obligated to any other movies, but I would not be surprised if he does sign on first to be in the MCU, because I think he genuinely enjoys doing it. But from the time the movie releases 2 weeks after until you hear something about Deadpool being in the MCU afterwards, I think that this book is going to drop down again. It's a blue shipper that everybody wants to have in their collection, so it's never going to be worthless. Deadpool's too popular a character for that, but it's not going to be at these prices. So I still have not had a copy of this, but I'm not buying this until maybe July, August at the earliest. So we've hit our midway point. And I would like to take this opportunity. We're not done. We still have the top 10 to go, so don't leave yet. This is not the end of the video. But I want to take this opportunity to thank both our Patreon members and our YouTube members, of which we have 2 new members, one for Patreon, one for YouTube. Just look at the bottom of the list. You'll see your names have been updated on there. Thank you so much. That is not the one I uploaded. That is really annoying me because I uploaded it. I tested it. It's not supposed to do that. It really does annoy me. You try to do something right and it doesn't work. So while I'm waiting for the correct one to upload, which is more than 50%, 75%, never mind. Let's just get right into this. It's pre-screening and make sure there's no, I guess, pornography on it. And here we go. Yes, James Hot Dogs and Visions Games have both joined as members. One is Patreon, one is um, YouTube. Thank you very much. Also, remember on New Comic Book Day, that entitles you to a third book if you win. When you win, not if, when. So, guys, thank you for joining the channel. And I'm sorry for that little mess up. I actually got it here for 2 hours ago and I deleted the old one and I put the new one on. I said, yep, there it is. And for some reason, it didn't save it. So it's there now. You see it, it's there. Anyway, and we've got members here that are welcoming you, welcoming you to the channel. James Hot Dogs. I mean, that's what he put down as what he wanted to be called. Hey, fantastic. I like it. It's cool. All right, so let's jump into the list here. We're going to hit the top 10 now, and we are going to have number 10, which is a book that I do not think we should be investing in. It is Mad Max Fury Road Furiosa, because the movie has come out this weekend, Furiosa, and now people are saying, oh, then maybe I should buy that book that came out 9 years ago, because for the last 9 years, I wasn't interested in it at all. Uh, yeah, in 2020, the book sold for $1. Now we're selling it for 2015. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of every time like AMC has a comic book that is available at the movie theater when the movie first comes out. And you figure it's got to be pretty limited. They're only having it on opening night and only to the first X amount of people per screening. And it shoots up, it hits the hot list and everything else. Every single one of those books is worth a buck 3 months later. Let's not fall into the trap, guys. So people are paying $20 for this. If you have it, sell it. And you're getting a welcome also from Robert. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I wouldn't buy this book for $10. So 25 is definitely out of the question for me. Number 9, we have the sensational She-Hulk number 2. Why? I do not have a clue. 2-panel cameo appearance of the blonde Phantom, older called Wheezy since Golden Age. Uh I know. I remember Wheezy. I didn't realize that she was an older version of a comic, Golden Age comic character called the Blonde Phantom. The only thing that I can think of that would spike this would be if they have some kind of leak that's the Blonde Phantom or Wheezy is going to be in the Deadpool movie for a slight cameo. I mean, there's going to be 5 billion cameos on this. Don't bother. This is a 1989 book from the Sensational Run, which is what they based the TV series off of. And you saw how well that went. 9.8 for 115. Raw's hitting 1310. If you're a She-Hulk fan, like I am, I mean, I'd spend 13 on a Raw. I'd probably would rather wait till it went down to 8. But for $5, if I happen to see a 9.8 quality Raw, and I'm thinking, nah, I'd rather find another one and save $5 in 3 months. I'm just going to buy it. But to go and buy a 9.8, that's available at any time. And I would wait till that dies back down again if there is something for the meeting. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble. We accept them. We accept them. One of us, one of us. I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry. And I'm sure you're going to tell me that I'm going to feel stupid for not getting it, but um if you see an absolute beautiful Raw and you want to spend $13 on it, it's not going to really hurt you. It's probably going to be more like 10 in a couple of months. So for 3 months, for $3, you're not going to freak yourself out. That's from the movie Freaks from 1932. Never heard of it or saw it. Sorry. As far as the 9.8s, it is issue number 2. I'm sure there was a good number of them that were graded. And there, 9.8 will always, you'll be able to find it always on eBay. So I'd wait for it to drop down a little bit. He gets it. I don't. Well, like I said, I'm sorry. Number 8, we have Spider Gwen Ghost Spider. Number 1, the Virgin 1 in 100, Jenny Frison. Again, I'm not a big fan of ratio variants. And the regular, that's a, yeah, there we go. The Jenny Frison regular was what? A cover B, a cover what? Just a regular. Well, it's not that is a variant, so it's got to be like a cover B or C or whatever. So you can get the same artwork, not as a ratio. But look at all these covers here. Well, the Momoko was from Big Time Collectibles, so that's not something you would get from your average store. For the Lobos, you could get Zerdsey did an Unknown Comics version. Frison did her version. J. Scott Campbell did his version. Greg Horn did his version. Souza did his version. Surprise. Lopez. Blank versions. There's so many opportunities for stores to buy enough copies to get the 1 in 100. They can pick the top 5 covers and buy 20 each. So I don't think that these are going to be as rare as everybody hopes they're going to be, but it is selling for $188. That's the last recorded sale. Really? 200. I see it as a near mint. So this one might be going up a bit. And I'll be honest, that's a gorgeous cover. That's a cover that actually belongs as a Virgin cover, that is. I think that the trade dress does ruin the artwork on that. I can see that holding value. That's gorgeous. I like that. But I would not go spend $200 on a Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider version 100. This one might hold value. This one's tough for me to see. A movie from 1932. Okay, I'm assuming it's black and white. Oh my gosh. That's why my phone was just think. Madonna. Kind of looks like Madonna. But yeah, the lips. I can see it in the lips. I don't know. I mean, again, it's beautiful artwork. It's nice color choices as well. That does really look good and would look good best as a Virgin variant. And once in a while, these things do hit. I could see this one having the potential to hit, but the downside is, yeah, the Like a Virgin era. I can't make a decision on this. This is going to be tough. I think next week you're going to see this spike up again. You know what? I'm going to take a page from JP's Budget Collecting because he's been doing this for longer than me, and he actually is better than me on this. He's going to make a prediction because his show is at 9:00. If this book's on his list, he's going to say that next week it's going to be even higher on the list. If that's the case, then the long-term value on this book will be what it is this week. So if next week this shoots up to like 200, 220, 230, then the long-term value of it is going to be around the 180 mark. So I would wait. And if I didn't get it, it took off through the roof. Okay, fine. There's other books I can spend $200 on and be just as happy. Way off topic, but what are your thoughts on the Marvel Red Band books with extra violence in them? Greg Capullo is doing Wolverine, Revenge, and it is a Red Band version along with the Blood Hunt books having them. Well, I don't want to skip ahead to number 4. Can you wait till we get to that book for me to discuss it? Cash grab to get customers to buy twice the books? No, I don't think so. I think that is because I'm not buying the regular ones. I've been buying the Red Band because I want to read an adult book. So, so I did answer your question, but we'll get into it. Doom number one. This is the non-virgin that we saw back here at. Didn't we see it earlier? No, we didn't. I was just looking at that. Oh my god, they're all over the place. This is the cover B, and in my opinion, the best cover. But cover A's are the ones that always get the attention, unless there's something really, really cool, like um, Something is Killing the Children, number 3, second print, the bathtub variant. That's really cool. That one, oh, and that's a ghost too. This one's going for $90 as a pre-sale for a 9.8. And I see a sale for a near mint for $7 and also sales for 17. Now, last week, this book was selling just about cover price. It looks like it's trending upwards, and I think somebody missed upgrading the price on their sale and sold it for 7. And I think that's why that's there. But it's averaging closer to the $15 mark because it has trended up. Now, again, if everything I'm hearing from people, and I haven't read mine yet, if this story is boring, this is not going to hold. So I'm hoping it's wrong, because initially people were telling me this is a great read, that's why it's going up. But now I'm hearing it's all boring. So I agree with you on that, but it seems that books have different interiors from the regular. Oh, we're talking about the red band again. I'll get back to that comment in a little bit. So before I went and spent $20 on this, I would, well, I mean, I just went and bought 3 copies extra of Doom cover A number 1 for me, and 2 for the Patreon grab box set for the once per month that we get together. So those are going into that box for you guys to pull out. Oh, wait till number 4. I honestly, I think if you really hunt, you might get lucky and find another book that has not been raised in price like this. You might find something for closer to 10, and I think that's safe at that point. Somebody paid 150 for a raw. Wow. I got a bridge in Brooklyn. I'd like to sell them. Okay, we have Essentia, number 22, the J. Scott Campbell Torpedo Comics hidden mail-in exclusive that hasn't even been released yet. It's coming out in 2 days. Wake Entertainment, and we have books selling for $280, 299, 280, highest known value 350. Okay, so why? And was this I'm not using J. Scott Campbell throwing something like that revealing, so I'm not gonna, but I don't mind. This I don't know what the print run on this was. I don't know what the criteria was. These hidden, unknown books, they tend to hold value. There are some that don't, like believe it, even that Eminem Spider-Man book that has come down, the signed one has come down, but some of the other hard to find books, they hold value for a while, but they do eventually come down. Now, Essentia will only be something if Essentia means things to the general public. So this becomes, wasn't this already a movie? No, I'm thinking of Jupiter Ascending. Sorry. I haven't bothered to pick up the Red Man book. I disagree with that. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I'm not going after it, if that helps. And honestly, if you have ordered Essentia number 22, the regular copies, Frank Miller has a copy, Torpedo Comics exclusive. It says it's going for 30. The regular copy is going for 5. The regular copy for 5 might actually take off just being dragged in the attention of Essentia number 22 for the J. Scott Campbell version. It might go up a couple bucks. But 280, I don't know. I don't. Hidden mailing exclusive. What they make? 10? They make 1,000? They make 1,000,000? I don't know. I can't make a decision on that. Offhand, I'd say people are not knowing what the print run is, overpaying for the book to try to get one in their collection. All right, we're coming up on number 5, which means we're only one away from number 4, which is what everybody's really waiting for. So I'll get through this in really fast. X-Men issue number 266, the second appearance of Gambit, first cover appearance, and I don't see his actual first appearance on here, but the cover appearance is still widely regarded as like, it's his first real appearance. That one's a cameo, even though it appears on like 14 pages and or 14 panels, 7 pages. He talks and whatever. $230 average for a 9.6, huh? $650 for a 9.8. It's up a bit from the FMV. The 9.6 is holding about the same. The Raws are holding around the same, 130, 128 for a fine. Thank you. First person to actually tell me this. I'm looking at the screen, so I'm just thinking in my brain that you're seeing it. I'm sorry. How far back did I turn it off? Doom? Essentia? The Essentia J. Scott Campbell cover? Jeez. There are certain days where I really, really miss Greg. You know that? Camera appearance. It says appearance, so it's not the first appearance. LOL. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I will disagree, and I'll come back to the screen. When it comes to like Mary Jane Watson or Eddie Brock, where all you see is like a foot, that's a real cameo appearance or not a first appearance. Okay, that one I'll say I agree with that. You know, those not being the first appearances. The New Mutants one, the X-Men one for stuff like Gambit or Wolverine, first appearance is a first appearance. He appears completely in a full panel. Come deal with me, you know, into the Wolverine, whatever. And I put it back. Okay. So I did show the Ascensi books right now. Thank you. In my mind, it's his first appearance. I agree. And I have the books. I have all 3 of them, and I consider first appearance 180, first full story with Wolverine, and first cover appearance of 181, and his third appearance, not his third appearance is Hulk 182. Giant Size X-Men number 1 is his fourth appearance, not his second. So anyway, Gambit absolutely so much in the news because of X-Men 97. What they did, what's going to happen. Hot topic right now. But as Deadpool starts to really over dominate the airwaves and we get a little bit further away from X-Men, this book should drop a little bit. I'd be looking to try to get a 9.8 around the 500 to 525 mark in a couple of months, or getting a real high grade raw for a real high grade raw. 130 might be as good as 120 maybe. It's not going to go down that much, but you will be able to save a little bit. The important thing is if it's not in your budget to buy one right now, you can get one later at about the same price or a little less. I actually own 2 of these. I have one Mark Jeweler. It's very low grade, and I have one graded. I think it's like a 9.0 or something, which I just wanted to have a better grade book than what I had. The book that everybody's waiting for, and my screen is on. I see it. Blood Hunt, the Red Band edition. You know what? Let me give you my thoughts on these Red Band books with the added violence for. Okay. I don't think that they're double dipping on this because I think, first off, you do have to be over 18 to buy them. Yeah. She gone. Anyway, I don't think that they're trying to double I think maybe their intention was to try to double sell, but I don't think they're getting double sales out of it. You have to be over 18 to buy these books. So if you have a lot of people going in and buying these books and you're 22, 23, you're like, I'm an adult now. I want to read the story. Which one am I going to buy? And they're the same price. I'm going to buy the one that's going to have more blood and guts. Now, Robert, what you're saying earlier about I don't think that I don't need them to add violence if it doesn't change the story. You can look at it from the opposite side. How do we know that there's somebody the artist didn't write the story originally and they removed the violence so they could sell a uh, PG friendly book? And maybe the original story actually had the violence in it. They didn't add the violence, they subtracted it. That's why I was like, ah. Now, there's something to be said, and I'll make sure I come back to the screen. There's something to be said about when a story is so good that you can have the action, the violence take place off screen and allow your imagination to go to the worst possible scenario. Okay, there's a scene in Loki season 2. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm sorry, where the box squishes. Okay, so I don't have to spoil it, but that way you people that have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And then when I can't remember the name of the guard comes in, the officer, she comes in to get them. They don't show that. They show her, and you hear dripping, and it's a grated floor. In your mind, you can make it as bad as you want. I mean, so somebody who doesn't like blood and gore can make something. Oh my God, that's horrible. Somebody like me is really nightmarish. And there's something to be said about allowing your own imagination to do it. However, if you have a talent for drawing that kind of stuff, like your dad worked for Tales of the Crypt and suspense stories, pre-code horror, that's where a lot of our nightmares are born from. So if you've got the talent for doing that to take it even beyond, you know, uh, now as far as the investability of this, no. Number one, shot up because nobody bought it because we didn't expect it to do anything. And as a result, it was the 1 in 25 was so um scarce, the price shot up. As soon as that happened, everybody, because we are living in a FOMO world, and I am a FOMO girl. We talk about Madonna. Everybody ordered Blood Hunt number 2 with the red band, and stores made sure they got enough copies so they don't have these 1 in 25s. There's going to be 10 times as many of these as there was of the issue number 1. So the $200 that people are getting for this is a complete FOMO fabrication, and this will not hold this price. I have one copy of the regular print, not the 1 in 25. I got it for cover price, and just so I could, when they're finished reading it, I'll decide if I want to read it or not. 175, 182, highest known value 300. So on May 17th, it sold for 300. On May 25th, it sold for 175. It's almost lost half its value already. It's going to continue going down. This book is going to finish up coming down to around $30. 50 maybe, but that's it. So yeah, this is not a good good book to invest in. All right, number 3, New Mutants, issue number 98 in Hyuk Lee 2024 facsimile 1 in 25 from last week. So they did a facsimile book for issue number 98 of New Mutants, first appearance of Deadpool. And of course, what you want to do when you do a facsimile is to make a facsimile of a book that never existed, right? So In-Hyuk Lee decided to make his copy, a 1 in 25. No, no, I $56, $59. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I even bought a copy of the New Mutants 98 I think everybody did, just to say I got a copy of it at cover price so I could sit down and read it. Sure, a lot of people wanted to read this book before the movie came out just to refresh their mind of his origin. Sorry, first appearance is not an origin story. And this is not going to hold any kind of value. It's a good cover. It's a good cover. I mean, especially if you do want to get something signed, you have that signed with red. That would really stand out. That would pop. But to go from a 1 in 25 book, which honestly should be selling for 25, 30 at the most, and there people are paying 59, that's only because the movie's coming out. And I don't think people realize there was going to be a ratio variant of a facsimile book. I wouldn't get it. Sorry. Coming in at number 2, last week's number 1. I'm so paranoid. I keep looking at the screen to make sure I'm still showing it. Issue number 1 of Doom, the cover A. Uh, so I now have 4 copies, 2 of mine and 2 of yours. But as long as they're still in my possession, I still got to count them. This book has dropped a little. Well, this is odd. This is really odd. I see. Okay, $30, 29. And I know I am currently watching an auction on eBay with a buy it now at $20. It's been there for a couple of days. It's got $6.95 shipping. So it's, even if you factor that in, it's still only 27, which is less than 29 or 30. I don't understand why it's still there. When I bought these, the guy had 29 copies and were $20 a piece. And it was just like drop down, pick however you wanted. Now he was sold out the day after I bought the 3 I bought. I'm like, $60 is enough of this. This has gone up a little bit. I believe this was selling for about 20-25 last week. Now it's hitting 29-30. It's not a tremendous increase, but it's still in the top 3 on the hot list. So I expect this to continue up a little bit. Maybe one more week, it'll go to 33, 34 as some of the sales, and then it'll start to trend back down again. I think it's probably going to wind up settling around 18 to 20. That's why I didn't feel bad about spending $20 on it. And I may be sending in a couple of copies for grading or pre-screen. They're pre-selling for 130. They're going to wind up settling around 80, 85, which is still not bad. Not every book that comes out can be a flop. We have to have some books that come out that actually are worth the hype. Otherwise, nobody would buy any new books at all. So I don't think, I mean, if you want to pick up a copy now, wait another week and sell it for a couple buck profit. But other than that, I'd wait a little bit to see if you can snag a copy once it starts going under 25. All right, let me get my other book ready here. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to share a screen with a camera. That's what I got to do. All right, so coming up, number 1 on the list, X-Men 97, issue number 2, animation art, second print. Now, when this book, I saw it on the previews guide, the final order cutoff, I fell in love with this cover. It just, I still love this cover every time I see it. And I can go to this screen and very simply just say, yes, I'm still showing you the book because I got 2 copies of it. And I'm going to show you one other thing real quick. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to camera, and I'm going to switch my camera to the one showing this week's giveaway books for New Comic Book Day, which is in 2 days. And what do you see right there, right here, baby? The book that I picked last week. I bought 3 copies of this. So one of the choices for this week's winner of New Comic Book Day is that X-Men 97, number 2, second print, because I love it so much. I knew you would too. So, it really makes me happy when I do pick a real good winner that is already going up in price by the time we're actually through the giveaway. I've done that with 8 Billion Genies. I did that. I had a copy of, I give away a copy of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Yeah. Number 1. Yes. the regular cover A. So that's the kind of stuff that really makes me happy. That I'm like, oh man, I pulled a winner with this one. Somebody's really gonna be happy. I got something great. Yes. All right. So, what am I thinking about this book? Uh, I think this might have even more potential because yes, second printings, third printings do sometimes hold value, but it's those number twos, number threes of second printing, third printing that I think are really lower print. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Um, I actually, when that came out and I was trying to jump on the train real quick before it took off crazy, I accidentally bought the wrong raw off of eBay because I thought it came up as the lowest price. It was like 12 bucks. And all the other number ones were 15. And I accidentally bought the 1 in 10 virgin variants. And when I came in, I'm like, oh man, that's the 1 in 10. That's not the cover A. And I sent it off and I got a 9.8 on it. So for 12 bucks, I got the virgin variants in a 9.8, which is now like $400. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for helping me screw up. But I think this book has a potential. I really do. It says current trend down 7%. That could be just because the show has passed a little bit, but $13, $14, and the cover price on it was $3.99. So 1 week. Now that it's hit number one on the list, it wasn't on the list at all last week. So it's going to get a lot more attention being on this list. I think this is going to be higher next week. If you have the opportunity to get one for around 10 bucks, I would try for it. You might still be able to find them on eBay. And you will not be disappointed with this cover when you see it in person. It's absolutely the animation art from the show. It's great. And I can't wait for some time point in season 2. I don't care what they got to do. They've got to kiss. They've got to kiss. Uh all right. So that is the list for this week. I think this has a pretty good selection of books this week. Now I got to pick 2 books. One is the gun to my head. What do I think is the best investment on this list? And what do I think is the worst investment on this list? At current prices, what would I want to grab? Well, see, the one I would want to grab the most is not because I want it to go up in value or I think it could go lower in price later. It's just because I really want the book badly. But that doesn't help you guys at all, does it? Oh, okay, okay. Let's see. Get serious, Rich. There's a few here that are not terrible. I'm just honestly trying to find what I think is the best one. I, I guess I think the best one would probably be currently the Granov cover B of Doom #1. And I would be trying to find it around the $17 mark. It might drop a little bit, but as far as the Doom #1s, the artwork on that is just so good in comparison to the cover A that I think in the long run, this is going to be the book that everybody wants. It's too good to put it second fiddle to the cover A, which is really not great art. Okay, now the rubber band to the butt, worst possible pick of the week. Now we got some candidates for this one too, don't we? No, you know what? We really only have one. I'm sorry. Mad Max, Fury Road, Furiosa, $25 for a book that is going to be worth $2 in 3 months. No, thank you. Pass, pass. And by the way, did I mention pass? So I want to know, what are your best and worst choices for this week's hot list, the top list, the weekly, whatever you want to call it list. The list of reporting our purchasing trends. There we go. Uh, another possible for a bad pick would also be the Capullo 1 in 100. It's funny because if you look here, it says raw near mint $190. But then if you look here, it says the most recent price is 67. So again, that's already gone down from 190 to 67 in 3 days. So at the 190, absolutely it's a horrible. 67 might not be the total dumpster fire. All right, guys, I want to wrap this up because I know a lot of you guys want to jump channels. Get over to JP's Budget Collecting, see his review of the top list, which is the CSI and Comic Tom. He does his analysis of that. I'm going to get out there and join it myself. I want to thank everybody for joining the channel. Don't forget to please click like, click subscribe, click on those notifications so you know when more videos are dropping, like the live stream that you'll find here on Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. First thing we do as soon as we start the show is we give away to one lucky winner either their choice of the comic books or their choice of cash, especially if they're outside the United States. They just get the cash because we're not going to send the books to $10 worth of books for $40 in shipping. That doesn't make sense when I could just put cash right in their hands to pick up whatever they choose. Guys, again, thank you so much for joining. Thanks again for the new members. Thank you so much for the members that have been here for so long. You know, I love you and I can't wait to see you again. Till I do, though, mahalo.